you all. I am Harshit Pallav, currently pursuing my bachelor's in civil engineering from IIT Sindri.
And I am Harsha Sinha, currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. IET Student Forum is a techno management club of BIT Sindri. Our professor in charge, Professor Imtiaz Ahmed, the HOD of ECE department.
In this webinar, we will have some insight about blockchain technology. We had also conducted many webinars earlier on the trending topics like machine learning, career guidance, optical fiber, and many more. We request our viewers to ask their questions through the YouTube chat box, and we will try to put them in front of our speaker if the time permits.
For today's session, our speaker is Mr. Pranshu Rastogi, who will speak on the topic blockchain technology. He is a software engineer in blockchain at Divya Network Private Limited. Hello, sir. I welcome you on the behalf of the team IET. It's a pleasure to have you here. Passing on to you, sir, to proceed with the session.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So my name is Pranshu Rastogi and I am currently a software engineer at Divya Networks Private Limited. So I'm working on blockchain as the role suggests. So let's start. I guess I'll just read that you are just starting in blockchain and then I'll keep moving forward. So let's do that. I hope my screen and slides are visible. If you face an issue, just let me know or drop the comment. Okay. Cool. So of course, starting from the blockchain thing, the first question that comes to our mind is what is blockchain? So I'm not sure if you have heard about the linked list before or not. So let me tell you first about what is linked list. So linked list is like a chain. Okay, just treat like alphabet. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. So what if we just join all of them? Like we can join A to B, B to C, C to D. So we can traverse from them, right? Same in the linked list. I hope if you are from if you have some exposure of DS and everything, you must be aware about it. So linked list is same. There is a head and there is an endpoint, and then one point is linked to the second. Second is linked to the third. So as the name suggests, in the blockchain, we have a various block. We have the starting block, then we have the second block. What block contains is block contains the timestamp, transaction data, and of course the hash of the previous block. So we can jump to the previous block. So this is more of like a chain, but the chain of data. Those data are wrapped in a block. Okay. But the important part of the blockchain is what separates this from any other thing. Because you can see, hey, we have the linked list. Why do we need blockchain? What separates blockchain from any other thing is the property immutability. What immutability is, once you have written anything on blockchain, you cannot delete that. Like you are aware about CRUD operation, create, read, update, delete, right? But you cannot delete in blockchain. That means when it is written, it is written. There is no going back. So let's go to the standard definition of blockchain. A blockchain, originally blockchain, like I told you, it's a series of blocks that are linked to each other, is a growing list of records called blocks that are linked using cryptography. Of course, this is an essential part because if you see, we are putting the data into the block, right? So that's a huge risk. Like anyone can read that. So that's a privacy risk, right? So those data is encrypted with the cryptography. What cryptography is? Cryptography is a technique to encrypt data. That means there's let's take an example. You have your house, right? So you have your house key. Now you have that lock. Now if you want to enter in your house, you have to open the door with the key, right? No one can enter beside that, of course, keeping there's no that there is a tight security. So same cryptography does that thing. So if you have your private key, you can see your data. So your data is totally safe over the block. So a blockchain, originally blockchain, is a growing list of records called blocks that are linked using cryptography. And each block contains a cryptographic hash of the previous block, a timestamp, and a transaction data. Like I've told you, just imagine these blocks in your mind. Okay, let's take the visualization. See, like there's one block. We in blockchain we call the initial block as the starting block as a genesis block. Okay, the starting block named as a genesis block. So that block have the timestamp transaction data. As it is a genesis block, it does not have the hash of the previous block. Now I'll create another block that will have the previous block hash, timestamp, and transaction data, so that I can traverse into the previous block. So if someone try to break that chain, like you are the mischief guy or some like XYZ fraud thing. So if you just change the like fifth block or sixth block, then chain came to know because that block won't have the previous block hash. So that's why. So this is the simple definition of blockchain. That a blockchain, originally blockchain is a growing list of records called blocks that are linked using cryptography. And each block contains a cryptographic hash of the previous block, timestamp, and transaction data. I hope that basic definition of blockchain is clear. Okay, so now we can move forward. So this is really cool. This I always ask from the peeps, like when I do webinar or anything. So this is the totally secretive. I'm sure like many of you haven't started blockchain or you are totally new to the blockchain. So I wanted to know, like, before going forward, how many of you think that Bitcoin is the blockchain? Like when you hear the word blockchain, you have the mind Bitcoin, Bitcoin, or you think that Bitcoin is the only blockchain. Like if you think like Bitcoin is the only blockchain, drop yes in the comment section or any chat you are using. If you think no, like these other thing, you can do that. Okay. So let's do that. Like how many of you think that only Bitcoin is the only blockchain? So I'm not sure like I can see that, but yeah. Oh, so I have received a chat, I guess. Yeah, so maybe they are somewhat related. Cool. So let's see, like, what is this? Cool. So just Bitcoin is the not the only blockchain. Okay, so this is one of the misconception like that many of think. Like even when I started, I think that Bitcoin is the only blockchain because we hear the word Bitcoin so many times that we think like Bitcoin is the blockchain, but not. So let me try to explain with the real life example. I hope like you all are engineers and you are your favorite thing to drink is tea. Okay, so like if we just think of tea, that doesn't mean that masala tea is the only tea. Okay, there are different types of tea, like green tea, iced tea, lemon tea, XYZ tea. Okay, so those are the different types of tea. Okay, so same Bitcoin is like one of the application of blockchain. Like the big picture of the Bitcoin is cryptocurrency. So there are various cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple. Like we have various cryptocurrency, and all those cryptocurrency is just one of the application of the blockchain. So there are various application of blockchain. That means you can do a lot of things with the blockchain. That means Bitcoin is just not the only blockchain. Okay. So if someone asks, hey, Bitcoin is the only blockchain, you will say no, Bitcoin is not the only blockchain. So now the question arises, okay, we got that Bitcoin is the only blockchain, but what are other blockchain? And if there are other blockchain, what types of blockchain they are? So like we generally classified the types of blockchain into the three things. Like one is private blockchain, other is public blockchain, third is hybrid blockchain. So first I will go to the public blockchain because this is something you all are very much familiar with. Okay, so Bitcoin is one of the public blockchain. Then we have the Ethereum that is also the public blockchain. So what public blockchain means is that your transaction or everything can be seen by anyone, no matter they are participating as a node in the blockchain, no matter they are doing any transaction or anything, they can see the records. That means if anything is written over the public blockchain, anyone can see that. Okay, So of course that is encrypted, so there is no risk of data privacy. But why we use public blockchain? So there are some scenarios in which we have to make the transparency. So there comes the public blockchain. Then we have the private blockchain. Of course, now suppose you are a tea seller or you are a tea manufacturer. Now you have three companies like company A, company B, company C. You sell the tea to company A at price A. You sell the tea to the company B at the price B, and to company C at price C. But of course, if you are writing all this information on the public blockchain, then it may cause a problem. Why? Because you are selling tea to company A at a less price, and you are selling tea to the company B at the more price. And you don't want this, that company B should know about this. Then that will create, of course, chaos and mess, and you don't want that. So in that scenario, or like that is one of the scenario in which you can use private blockchain. So what private blockchain do is it just separated the data with the in a specific organization. That means if you have the required permission to join that network, if you have the required permission to join that organization, or you have the access to read that data, then only you can do that. Otherwise, you cannot do like some random person just jump in and just be, hey, you are selling at this price. No, you cannot do that in the private blockchain. So I guess like I'm pretty much clear that public blockchain is something that is totally public. Anyone can see that. Then we have the private blockchain, like for example, of private blockchain are like Hyperledger Fabric, Articoda. Okay, so these are specifically meant for the private transaction that you don't want to disclose, but again you wanted to make the integrity in the system. And then we have the hybrid blockchain, like as the name suggests, that is the combination of private and public. That means there are some data that you wanted to keep public, there is some data that you wanted to keep private. Sorry. So you can use the hybrid blockchain. So public blockchain example is one of the example is Ethereum. So let me tell you like how this looks or how this is. So I'll like this is the block explorer. Okay, what block explorer is? It keeps the transaction, or you can see everything here. Like I've told you, right? In public blockchain, you can see everything. So this is an Ethereum blockchain explorer. Okay, so in this you can see everything, every transaction. So if you wanted to verify your transaction that it is written over the blockchain or not, you can just go to the Etherscan or and see that. This is specifically for the Ethereum blockchain. Okay. So you can see that Ethereum price, transaction, market cap, everything. You can see that the latest block that has been mined. I know this might confuse you, but I'm just showing you this for, just give you a vague idea how this thing works. So you can see that, right, this is the latest block, this is the latest transaction. You can see the transaction and everything. You can see at which time it is written, from which address it is returned, to which address it has been sent, how many ether gas fee it has been used. Gas fee is nothing, it's kind of transaction fees that is taken in the ether. So this is something called public blockchain. So you can see every stats. You can just put the transaction hash here or everything, and you can see, like if you can see like there's some this token, you can see that, or you can see everything here. Okay, so coming back to what we are going to do is this. So now you have the basic idea of what is blockchain. Okay, blockchain is kind of a chain of blocks that are totally immutable, transparent, and interlinked to each other. Now you know that Bitcoin is not the only blockchain. Now you know that basically there are three types of blockchain, that is private, public, and hybrid. Okay, and then you can see that in public blockchain, anyone can see the records. In private blockchain, they are different sets of permission. They are peeps only who have the access can join the blockchain, and hybrid is mixture of them. You can see, you have seen one of the example of Ethereum. Like you can see that you can see all the transaction and everything. So now I'll go to much deeper, like in more technical thing, consensus and blockchain. I know you, most of you are like this bunny, like what is this? We haven't heard about it. Like, and like till now we haven't heard about it. So just treat consensus as, a mutual agreement. Let me take an real world example. Suppose you are three friends, or you wanted to, buy something from someone. So there, like you are buying a house, of course, or you are buying a car, you are buying anything. So an agreement has been made, or you are renting a place. So an agreement has been made. Okay, but that agreement is basically a third party, or like a real world person, or some authority that is verifying. Okay, you are buying this car to this, so now you own this car, you pay this amount. Okay, but all this includes the human intervention. Okay, so this is not something, that is without human, and we cannot trust humans, of course. So consensus is an algorithm, or it is a processor through which, all the peers of blockchain. Peers of the blockchain is like a node of blockchain. Like a blockchain, like I told you, like, there are different blocks. Now all, like, suppose there are 10 blocks, make the one peer or one node. Okay. So different peer of the blockchain network reach a common agreement. Like they have, this thing sorted. Okay, if this thing happened, then we will do this thing. Okay, so consensus is like a, in very simple word, consensus is a mutual agreement. That's it. It's an agreement or state of a protocol. That's it. Nothing else. So a consensus algorithm is a procedure through which all the peers of the blockchain network reach a common agreement about the present state of the distributed ledger. Okay, so let me tell you the some of the example of the consensus. Now there are different blockchain. Each blockchain have their different consensus. That means they have the different, thought of agreement. Because of course, like different blockchain have different use cases, so they cannot have the same consensus. Okay, so I know this is more of a technical stuff, but try to, imagine, or at least, try to just grasp it. So let me tell you some of the consensus. I won't go deep in it as it is more technical. So one of the consensus is the proof of work. Then we have the proof of stake. Then we have a proof of one. Like we have various like Byzantine, fault tolerance, XYZ. Okay. So I'm not sure like how many of you are actually in the blockchain coding, but if you are in, or if you follow blockchain, you may know that Ethereum previously worked on proof of work. Now Ethereum works on the proof of stake. So what proof of work is? Sub is, like we have, like, let's talk about the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin have this block. Okay, but all the blocks are, not mined or not accessible. Like you cannot write the data on all the blocks. Okay, you have to do some work to write a data, or you have to do something to, do the transactions. Okay, so now what we call mining. Mining is the process of, doing that work. So in very simple word, just imagine there is a complex mathematical equation. Okay, there is very complex mathematical equation that you need to solve. If you are solving that, that means you are doing a work. Okay, if you are doing that work, that process is mining. Okay, and of course if you are doing the work, you are not doing that for free, right? There is some reward associated with it. So if you just, mine the block, or just open the block successfully, so you will get rewarded, and those reward are in the form of the Bitcoin for the Bitcoin blockchain. For Ethereum, those rewards are in the Ethereum. So what proof of work is? Proof of work is basically you're solving a mathematical equation. And if you just got the right answer for the first time, you will get some rewards, and those rewards are Bitcoin or XYZ currency. Okay. Now what is proof of stake? Proof of stake is more like a voting thing. Like, yeah, you hold some of the Bitcoin. This is of course not related to Bitcoin. Like just take the Ethereum example. Okay, so now you hold some Ethereum, okay, on some Ether, sorry. So now you have the authority. Okay, I have the authority. So now you can vote. Okay, proof of stake is to stake your Ether. You will put some of the Ether in the nodes, and now you have the authority to vote, or make a consensus. Like for example, in your college there are directors. So those directors have course have money. They have put it in the college and something. So now they have put that money to build your college and everything. So they have the authority to make the decision to vote, right? So that is proof of stake. Now we have proof of burn. Proof of burn is nothing like, if you see, I'm not sure, there are some events in which they burn the tokens. So like it's to burn the why they burn their tokens is to maintain the you know supply thing, like consumption and supply. This is the main thing in which whole market works on. So these are some types of consensus. I know this may be more hectic or more technical, but this is just an overview. Okay, so now we have like read about the types of blockchain and everything, and you may say, okay, that we know that Bitcoin is not the only blockchain, but you wanted to know more application of blockchain, what more you can do with the blockchain. So these are some of the application that I have mentioned here, but yeah, there are various application beside that also. So one of the thing is supply chain. So what is supply chain? Let's take the example of tea. So you just don't go to the shop and they have the tea and get that to you. Of course this happens with you, but initially this is not the procedure they follow. So there are some one who brew the tea, grow the tree. Okay, they just harvest the tea, then that tea is sold to the some factory or something. Then they clean that tea with the unwanted particles. Then they are got packaged and everything. Then they go to the wholesaler. Then wholesaler just give that to the shopkeepers, retailers, and then you buy them that tea from the retailers. Okay, but one of the issue in this whole process is, one thing is you can have the fake product. Second thing is they can claim, okay, the expiry of this product or manufacture date is July, but this may happen that is wrong, because how that that is written totally true. Or there are chances you wanted to know, like someone can claim that this comes from the Darjeeling or XYZ, but on the other hand it is coming from some other state or something. So supply chain is basically the process of to whole supply of the product or everything. Okay, and you can put everything on the blockchain, and now you know that you cannot delete the things once you have written over the blockchain. So you have total transparency. Okay, so I know that on this date it was there, on this date it is there. So this is from the Darjeeling, or this is from the XYZ, sorry, XYZ place. Okay, so this is one of the application supply chain. Other thing is money transfer. So I'm not sure, like you are using UPI and you will say like UPI is pretty quick and everything is good, why we need money transfer in blockchain? But this is just the national transfer. Okay, but if you have done any international transfer, or if you see that some international transfer, then that sometimes it takes so many days, like 4 to 5 days, just to make a simple transaction. And there's a lot of transaction fees included in that. Like PayPal takes approx 7% of the transaction fees, and again the change in the market price of the currency. So that's a huge loss. But if you will do the same transaction with the blockchain, then in the fraction of second you can transfer the um, like cryptocurrency from one state or one country or one nation to the other nation. It doesn't matter where you are from. It really doesn't care. For all the transaction fees is same and everything. For example, if you wanted to send Bitcoin, you should have the address in which you hold the Bitcoin. The other one should have the address in which he or she can receive the Bitcoin, and you just have to do the click and boom, so it gone to that person. So you don't have to just think of this huge fees or everything. You can just do that with the simple click and everything. That's it. And third part is personal identity security. So this is something really interesting, and this is something I'm working on it currently. So why I think this is really important is because in India, like, I don't want to make that specific, but we, most of us, don't care about our identity. If you see that Facebook, Google are becoming a monopoly, they are using our data and everything. I don't wanted to point out, like, those giants, but yeah, of course, you know we don't care about the privacy. Let me tell you one of the example. You, like, I'm sure you are using mobile phones and you have the SIM card. So you have once or more than once visited to the shop to buy the SIM card, and you must have realized what they wanted to know. First thing is, are you above 18 or not? Second is, are you Indian or not? That's it. And what they got is your whole Aadhaar card or your whole driving license. You just gave them your whole piece of information that have all the crucial details, and you never know how they treat that. Are understanding gravity of the situation, right? So how risky is this? For just buying a simple SIM card, you are giving your whole identity, and they can use you know in any manner they want. But now, guys, we have the blockchain, and there is something known as self-sovereign identity. So what self-sovereign identity do is, you don't have to provide all the things. For example, if you are going to buy the SIM card, you just need what you need. One thing is they need is your age and your nationality. So you just give the boolean, that is true or false. So they kind of ask, like, through blockchain, of course, they'll ask, are you 18 plus? Are you an Indian citizen? And blockchain will provide the answer, yeah, yeah, that's it. You don't have to reveal a single piece of personal information. You don't have to reveal anything. All your identity is totally secure, and you are provided with the SIM card. You can see, like, for the driving license, you give so much information. If you join any of the companies, you have to provide so many documents. So you can see how much information of privacy you are revealing to all these peeps and all these companies, and they can use that in the any manner. I'm not sure, but you know how Facebook works. You have seen the memes of Facebook. You know how Mark Zuckerberg is popular, like, being stalking and everything. So I think this is one of the great use cases of blockchain. Then we have, like, various use cases like decentralized finance, healthcare, record management, voting. I'm sure you must be following the USA elections. So you know how these things work. Hey, you have changed the ballot. Hey, this is some fraud or something. So if we just do the voting through the blockchain, that means that is totally decentralized. That is unhackable. No one can change that. So that is one of the great application in the blockchain, that you can vote over the blockchain. So no one can change that. And some of the countries also try doing the, what we say, starting, or I'm not getting the word, they have kind of trying implementing that. Okay. Then we have the decentralized finance. What DeFi is, I know, like, this boomed a lot in the recent past. Like, you have your money, you go to the bank, you deposit, you earn interest. Okay. Or you go to the bank, you borrow the money, you have to give interest. Same thing happens in the decentralized finance. Only difference is, in banks, you give the money, that is INR, fiat. In decentralized finance, that is totally decentralized, you put your crypto. Everything is same. Then we have the healthcare. In healthcare, you go to one hospital, they have all your records. Now you go to some other state at some other hospital, now you have to provide whole piece of information to them, and that's of course a huge hectic process, and you don't have all those records, right? So if everything is decentralized, you just you can give the access, and that's it, boom, they have your thing that they wanted to get access to. So I'm sure this is not boring or anything. And now you have the ideas, what blockchain can do. Because I know you may have, this is one of the big question, like what blockchain can do beside Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Now you see the use cases and everything, right? How great or how cool use cases these are. I personally love this personal identity one. You may have your some other, but the main thing is there are various use cases beside that also. This is just a few that I have named in front of you. Okay, so now after this webinar, I'm sure you may be more curious. So now try to find out more of the use cases, and maybe ping me over the LinkedIn on anything, or you can of course discuss with each other, hey, this is also a real use case. So this is one of the thing. Now moving forward is, of course, you all are in engineering and everything, you are doing your college, and now you say, okay sir, yeah, okay Pranshu, this is cool, you have told so many things to us that we have this use case, we can do this thing, but are there any jobs in the blockchain space, or is this even useful to study? Because if I'm not getting the job, what's the purpose of it? That's how education system, Indian system works. Okay, so leaving behind the dark jokes, so this is just a droplet of company that I mentioned, like in the whole ocean or sea. So these are one of the big giants like JP Morgan, Microsoft, Amazon, Spotify, IBM, that are also working on the blockchain. But these are, trust me, these are just very few companies. Or like I don't even treat them as they are working. So they are like millions of company working on blockchain space as of now. If you just go to the LinkedIn and just type blockchain jobs, you will see a huge list of the blockchain companies that are working on blockchain. And according to the LinkedIn report of the 1920, the blockchain jobs has been increased by 180% in an year. That means there is a rise in the blockchain jobs by 180%. That is the biggest, the company demands or the industry demands of blockchain job. So of course, blockchain job does not means you have to develop it. You have to develop the blockchain. Sorry. So blockchain roles also include like different part. Like suppose if you don't wanted to go into the technical thing. So there is one thing, blockchain architect. Okay. Now there is blockchain developer, there is blockchain analyst. Okay, these are like three major roles that you will find. Now if I have to divide them, blockchain architect kind of architect the blockchain. Like if you wanted to design your new blockchain or architecture of blockchain, how that will work, then you can become blockchain architect. And then we have the blockchain developer. Blockchain developer is more like a thing, like if you wanted to use some of the blockchain and develop application. If you develop application, those are application. If you develop application over the decentralized or over the blockchain, those known as dapps, decentralized application. Then we have the business analyst or blockchain analyst. Those are basically, more like a theoretical, or they understand the blockchain concept under the hood. So that they can, kind of lead or provide more information, or they can guide you, or they can suggest this will be the more accurate blockchain and everything. Okay, so let's do one revision on of everything what we have learned right now. Then I can take the questions. Of course, you will be having a lot of queries. Okay. So starting from the blockchain, we know now that it is more of a linked list, but you cannot delete anything. That means that is totally immutable. This is totally transparent. Okay, so these are more like blocks connected with each other, but you cannot delete anything. Okay, it's a list of records called blocks that are linked using cryptography, and each block contains a cryptographic hash of the previous block or timestamp and transaction data. Okay, so this is one of the thing. And then of course now we know that Bitcoin is not the only blockchain, and now you know the types of blockchain like private, public, hybrid. You know why we use public. You saw that public thing, you see that private thing, you see that hybrid thing. Like in private, if you wanted to don't wanted to give access to everyone, you have a set of access. And now you know that consistent in the blockchain, this is a mutual agreement. Okay, like if you wanted to agreement or in a blockchain, those peers reach with a common agreement. So that is something called consensus. Then you have a type of consensus like proof of work, stake, burn. You know how mining works. You know how you get rewarded and everything. Then this is the major part. You know the application of blockchain. You know the companies on blockchain. So now before going to for the queries or questions, I wanted to show you one of the thing. So this is more for those who are thinking to start coding in the blockchain, who are thinking to start how should we start with the development part. So I'll always suggest start with the Ethereum. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to you. Okay, so this is something I always suggest that you should, do that. So if you go to the ethereum.org, you will see that, there is section of developers. Okay, so before that, let me tell you one of the thing that there are various, programming language. So in Ethereum, we code in Solidity. Solidity is one of the programming language that we use to code. So if you wanted to learn Solidity, the official documentation is really good, really, really good. You don't have to go somewhere else. Okay. So it's of course is a combination of all this language. Okay. And now you wanted to know how you can get started. So there is something called Remix IDE. Okay, in which this is more like a ID, like you have a visual code, so you can directly start coding with it. Okay, so this is some of the basic. I'm just giving the outline. I'm not going into the technical details. This is something if you wanted to be a developer and you don't know where to start. So these are some of the resources. Now just go to this Ethereum org. Okay, you see that there are developers. There is a learn section. So if you just go to this developers and learn section, so you can in the learn section, I'm not sure it is hanging or something. You can see all these resources, right? If you go to the developer section, so they have like it's kind of hanging or something. But if you just go to the ethereum.org and you go to the developer section, you will find there are a lot of tutorials, and there are a lot of things provided to start with the development. I'm not sure why it is hanging or not opening for me, but you can, explore this on your own. Just mark this link ethereum.org and developers. You will find a lot of resources to learn. Okay, then we have the Solidity and everything. And this is one of the things that I also started. This is the in block.fight. So if you're interested in joining and getting some knowledge of blockchain, you can follow that. That's it. But one of the most major use cases is ethereum.org. So you will see so I guess it is open, so you can see we have docs, tutorials, everything. So this these have like lot of resources. Okay, so you can explore this. Okay, so I guess like that's something from my side. I'm sure you may have a lot of queries and everything. So now I'm open for the queries or questions if you have. So that's the best way to understand anything, to answer the queries or questions. So don't think like you have some questions that is not relatable or not. You just ask the queries or anything that is on your mind. So yeah, just shoot me with your questions.
Thank you, sir, for this awesome session. The session helped us to know about blockchain basis, cleared misconceptions regarding blockchain, and also made us aware of the companies working in this domain and other related stuffs. So there are some questions by our viewers, sir. You can see those queries in the chat box of the meet, or I can read those queries.
Wait, is that I cannot see in the chat box? Can you just
Yeah,
paste?
just a minute, sir.
Yeah.
The queries are being posted, sir. Just we need a minute.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is one of the queries. In past few days, there has been a sudden rise in the value of Bitcoin. Why is that? There is always a fluctuation in the value of Bitcoin. Of course, cool. So see, now you know that Bitcoin is not the only blockchain, right? Now you know that there are like lot of blockchain and everything. You know, what I suggest to everyone is that there's only one thing that makes the price of anything. Like if you go to the share market, even you go to the onion and potato, there's demand and supply. If there's less demand, more supply, so the price will be low. If there's less supply and more demand, the price will be high. Same thing why price of Bitcoin is rising is we have like for the Bitcoin there's a limited supply of 21 million. Okay, now previously most of the peeps or most of the things are they don't have the knowledge and they think this is fraud or xyz thing. Okay, so they are not investing. But now as time grows, as thing grows, now they are becoming more aware. So more big giants like JP Morgan, and you must be following Elon Musk, right? So he has tweeted about the Bitcoin. So now they have a lot of money, so they are investing in it, and they don't invest like 1,000 rupees or 5,000. So what they are doing is they are purchasing all those things. So now supply is limited, but they are purchasing. So that's why prices is rising so much. And if you see that's market sentiments, like if you see some fraud news or some bad news about the crypto, so they just begin to sell, and that's why price drop. So not particularly about the Bitcoin, this is the rule for the whole world. Demand, supply. If you have the demand and if you have the supply, price will be good. More supply, less demand, price will be low. Less supply, more demand, you know what the answer is, right? So I hope that is clear. Going to, can we make our own cryptocurrency? Of course you can make your own cryptocurrency. So now one of the thing is, if you wanted to create your own cryptocurrency from the scratch, then you must have the unique idea. One of the simple way to create cryptocurrency is using Ethereum. So Ethereum provide one of the set of rules of ERC20. It is a standard protocol. So that is really simple. I have written the blog over that also. Okay, so I can share that blog with you. Okay, so if you are if you interested in that or you wanted to learn, so you can go through that blog. Mm. Okay, so I'm not wasting the time. Okay, so just go to my Medium Pranshu Rastogi and see, you will find one of the blog on how to create ERC20. Okay, or I'll share the link with you afterwards so that we won't waste time right now. Okay, the other answer is PyCon worth investing? Okay, so I'm not going to give you the financial advice here. Okay, that do your own research, because I don't want you come after 1 year and say, hey, you told me to invest. Now give my money. So I'm not that Harshad Mehta or anything. Okay, but yeah, don't invest in that. Do your own research. Okay. And the other thing is, isn't there a chance of data redundancy since every ledger has every data in keys of decentralized system? Of course, there are chance of data redundancy, but you have to pay for that data, right? So you cannot do that. And there are also limitation in the previous, like Bitcoin. You cannot, upload the whole bunch of movie and everything. So there are various limitation, and of course data redundancy is there. You can of course but uh, each data point to the one block or something, so you can point that data to that point. You okay, instead of writing like separately, you can just point that. Or they are like various feature that reduces this. So of course if you own the blockchain, that it can happen. It depends upon blockchain to blockchain. So the other question is, as we know that we have max 21 million Bitcoin by 2140. So after that, paid enough. After that, they will just get the transaction fee. So will that affect Bitcoin? Of course, so there is also the thing that after 4 years, the rewards gets one fourth. Like previously, you got 25 bitcoins to mine a block, then you just got half, one fourth of that. So half of that, sorry. So this is just because more public coming to that. So maintain a balance between the demand and supply. Of course, when when all the Bitcoin has been mined and everything, then we have the circulation supply only. Okay, so that's why that's one of the things why fork happen. Fork is like a copying of blockchain. People realizes, okay, this is not something that going to work, because you see that Bitcoin takes around 10 minutes to make a transaction. So you cannot go to the shop and say, hey, I just Bitcoined you, and wait for 10 minutes for the transaction to get confirmed. So of course, this is the initial phase of the blockchain. There are many, improvements that needed to be done. So of course, that is improving. You see, like a lot of ledgers, header graph, and everything that has improved a lot. Okay. Now coming to the other question, is this technology called blockchain does have potential to mean people billionaire? Okay. So I guess like I have given you the whole section. You know how much potential it is, and billionaire and money does not come with just the task. It is something how much you work for that task. How, like, if you are a great developer, if you're great at anything, I'm not just taking just to that Bitcoin or blockchain. If you're good at being a guitarist or everything, someone just cut the hair and now he's playing here, Habibs and everything. So that, like, money and potential are totally different thing. Don't mix with that. And of course, if you have, like I told you, do your own research before investing, because I don't want that you should come to me for the reason, hey, give me money, you told me to invest in Bitcoin. Okay, then we have that the journey matters. Is the techno does Okay, I have told you what are the prerequisites of learning blockchain. Prerequisite of learning blockchain is you should have that urge to learn blockchain. There's no prerequisite to learn blockchain, because everyone was a beginner at one time. So like I've told you to the ethereum.org, of course it will be good if you start learning some of the basic of the blockchain first, then you go to the development part. If you have some oops concept, or you have some programming background, then it will be much easier for you. Okay, but I won't say that I am not an even an engineer, I'm doing MB or something. So that doesn't mean you cannot learn blockchain. Okay, there are plenty of resources right now. It's just path that matters. So I have told you that ethereum.org has a lot of things, and now you can see that YouTube, there are a lot of courses, but you don't have to pay for those courses. There are a lot of free resources, and ping me for more information, I will say. Okay. Then we have the what are the career opportunities in India in the field of blockchain. So like I told you, like there are millions of company that is working. Like IBM, JP Morgan are one of the big giants. Okay, but you are from, like, I guess mostly you are from Jharkhand and everything. So if you just go to the LinkedIn and search blockchain jobs, so there are plenty of jobs. Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, Gurgaon are one of the biggest hubs for the jobs. Okay, like I've told you, like blockchain architect, developer, and this analyst have the profile that they are looking for, but there are a lot of opportunities. And I say, just first, like what I personally suggest is first explore the thing. just don't go for the hype. Hey, this person is getting 20 LPA in the blockchain, so I'll also get that. No. So that means that person has worked for that. Because even now COBOL is working, that assembly language. Even there are people working on .NET. The people are working on microprocessor. That doesn't mean they are not getting paid enough. So that's totally the urge, and how much you are talented over that. So what I personally suggest is read, and then of course you will earn money if you are interested in that. Then we have uh,
Sir, if you want, you can skip some the redundant questions also.
cool, cool. So what are ledgers in blockchains? Ledgers are just the blocks. Ledgers are like a part where we write the data, like I've told you. Okay. If two miner come with the solution of the cryptographic puzzle at the same time, then which block will be added to the chain? So this is a really good question, and this is solved as per the blockchain. If you go to the Bitcoin, there is a concept of a grandpa reward or something. That means one of the miner will get the access, or other will get the same reward after the sometime. And in Ethereum they have different set of protocols. So I'll say like this depends blockchain to blockchain in which you are mining and everything. Okay. What if I build my own token and then disappear? Is it possible? I mean, something like that. Okay, cool. You are thinking of a fraud. Mark this guy. Okay. So this is something he's saying, that I'll create a cryptocurrency and I disappear. I'll ask you who will purchase that first thing. And of course you can do that. Like many of the, I don't have to name that, the Kingfisher guy. So yeah. So thing is, yeah, of course. And in 2017, there was a hype of a ICO. So ICO is the initial coin offering that is similar to the IPO, initial public offering, in which what you do is just you create a coin, you say, hey, give me money, I'll give you the coin, and you will become rich. Okay, but then they just disappear. So there were a lot of fraud cases. Okay, so that's why I've told you, do your own research. And of course you can do this thing. This is totally possible, because you will see a lot of failed projects. You have to make your own currency. You can sell that over Uniswap. This is something decentralized exchange. And then you can you say to your convince your friends, hey, buy this, you will be a billionaire. Okay, I am the Harshit Mehta. So no, don't do that. Okay, but of course you can do that. And then we have the, how big can cryptocurrency grow? I don't have to answer that. You know the answer. That's totally depend on bit like blockchain to blockchain in which you are making that. So it is safe to invest in the technology which is decentralized, considering the fact that most governments could be against it. Okay, cool. So this is interesting. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about the 2007 and 2008 financial crisis. And he's some guy who is saying like, can we trust decentralized thing? Because government are against that. I will ask that guy, can we trust government? Because in 2008 the whole big banking system just failed. They just got disappeared. I just don't go to the 2008. We just came over the 2020, right? So you can see the crash in the census and Nifty and share price. Okay, that is governed by the government, right? So you can see that. Can you trust the, suppose you have invested a lot in the share market, like your whole wealth, and in 2020 that totally crashed down, right? So the main benefit of decentralized is you don't have to trust anybody. That is the only benefit. So I guess like that's why that is born. I'll suggest you, there's some book. I may give you the link or something. So Satoshi Nakamoto discovered or created this Bitcoin. That is an anonymous name. So there is a book who have the conversation of emails and everything with the Satoshi Nakamoto and everything. So just read that. It's really a good book, and it will clear all your misconception regarding blockchain and everything. So now we have the what is cryptocurrency mining? Basically, mining, like I've told you, that there is a set of a mathematical equation that you need to solve. Whosoever solves that will have to provide electricity or everything as a consumption. That means that is using the that is doing the work. For the work, she get rewarded if he or she that do that first, and this whole process is mining. That's something. So is it obvious that Bitcoin will grow in future or it may go in dark? I will not answer. Okay, I'll told you. So is it possible to modify data in the block once it no? This is a big no. So this is one of the thing. If you go to the webinar, I've told you that it is immutable. That you cannot delete that thing, but you can update that thing. That means you have written ABCD, but now you wanted to write EFG because you have mistakenly write ABCD. But that doesn't mean you can delete ABCD. That means you can point ABCD to EFG. That means if someone goes to the ABCD, it will point to EFG, but he or she can see that ABCD. That means you cannot delete that. That is the only thing. You cannot delete anything on the blockchain. Okay. So we can update but not delete. Okay. Okay, how to become developer of blockchain? I've told you. Okay, how is Bitcoin generated and how long it will take to mine one Bitcoin? No. So this is something, depend upon the complexity and various aspects. If any error occurs in Bitcoin transaction, will I get my money back or not? Yeah, of course. So this transaction, if you make any transaction, there is a consensus. Okay, if that is right, that there is a memory pool in which whole transaction goes. So if there is no error, they is just disqualify that transaction or accept that transaction. So of course there is an error, you will get your money back. I'm not talking about the exchanges, I'm talking about the proper blockchain. Okay. Then we have the size of block exceed 1 MB, then will that block be added to Bitcoin Cash or will it be discarded? So it depends upon memory capacity of blockchain to blockchain. Of course, if the memory size increases, it will go to the other block. Okay, so they have their own mechanism to do that. Then we have the last query. Do you believe that cryptocurrency should be regulated by government as cyber criminals and even conventional criminals use Bitcoin, etc. nowadays? So this is something you have asked a personal opinion over that. So I'll answer that with a counter question. So tell me how cash can be regulated. Can you trace the cash? Suppose you have, like, of course most black money is in the cash form, right? Can you trace the cash? No. So criminals are using cash also. Okay. So gold is also this thing, but of course there are some dark side of this, and there are dark side of everything. So but we have to see the positive thing. But because even like when internet was introduced, it was just a single web page. Okay, now you can see, you cannot imagine your life with the internet. Okay. So, oh, do not paste the dark web question? Okay, cool. Okay, so I guess like if you have any queries, I will be glad to answer that. Okay, we have, does cryptocurrency has the potential? So does cryptocurrency has the potential to disrupt the current banking system in the future? So you answer this query. I've told you like the potential and everything. What I did was is I was like a candle. I just show you the light. Now you have to decide at which path you have to go. Okay. So now you know what blockchain do. Now you can decide is that is potentially enough to do that or not. Okay. Because like I'm just a human being, I cannot do that. Okay. So if you have any queries, just let me know. Otherwise, that's it from my side. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for asking all these queries and everything. So I'll pass that to the Abhishek or whosoever is owning that. And if you have other queries, just let me know. I'll happy to answer that.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing these things with us. We request our audience to fill the feedback form, whose link is provided in the YouTube chat box. And for further updates, do follow us on our social media handles, ITBits, and get connected to us through our website, itbits.com. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you, everyone.